Are you sick and tired of the people under your rule being so stupid you can't get anything done? Are your lands at risk of being overthrown by your neighbor because the latest technology you've unlocked is a pointy stick? Well, look no further. Today, I'm gonna be building the most developed society in the world, going from 0 to 100 development without using my steward at all, but instead using some of the most slept on and little known tactics to increase your development. This is the No Steward Challenge. Now, to pull off this strategy, I'm gonna be using the acronym ABG, and that doesn't stand for Always Be Gamin', but instead, it stands for abusing your contracts, bullying your liege,
why you bullying me?
And gardening, baby. And by leveraging those three tactics and stacking percentage bonuses, I was able to get 8.7 development growth per month. But before we get into that, first, a word from today's sponsor. Can you guess who it is? I'll give you a hint. It's the greatest mobile game of all time, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid's got over 600 champions, each with their own unique history. And my favorite of these factions is the High Elves. Their homeland, Aravia, has been around for thousands of years. It survived the fall of the Lizardman Empire, helped the humans form into a civilization, and defeated the orcs when they formed a huge horde and attacked the continent. Some of my favorite elf champions are the Jingle Hunter and the Battle Sage. And this month, Raid's got a non-stop schedule of special events and activities, including Forge Pass Season 3, with some amazing rewards on offer, including a limited edition artifact set. And if that's not enough, Raid's even bringing out new champions too, along with some awesome looking champion skins for the incredible Madame Cirrus. Madame? But wait, here's the big news. Later this month, Raid is giving everybody's favorite champion the upgrade he deserves. Finally, Death Knight is becoming a legendary champion, and I can't wait to see how Ultimate Death Knight turns out. This is the best time to get started playing Raid, and if you click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen, you'll get all kinds of unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion, Vergis, 200k in silver, 1 energy refill and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in the game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here, and it's that easy. Just click the link in the description, and I'll see you in the game. Rewards only available for the next 30 days and only for new players. Hello, Ottawans and Ottawans from around the globe. So today, we're starting our adventure way down here in the Canary Islands. I'm gonna start as this one over here because that's the duchy capital. And it looks like on this pull, he says lustful, ambitious, and diligent, which is actually quite a sick pull.
Nice.
But here's the catch though about diligent. We're not gonna be leveraging this at all. We're also not gonna be using our steward because that would be way too easy. Except for like promoting cultural acceptance and stuff, because I make the rules and that's it. Now, the reason I'm starting all the way down here is because they have this special religion, Acamanism. You know, they have some bonuses and mountains and things like that, but they have this one, megalith construction. Now, this is the most important one by far. Why? Well, to start, it gives you development growth in hills by plus 15%. Following that, it enables the construction of megaliths in temple holdings. Megaliths are these buildings that increase your development. You can build them early game. There's no caps in terms of text. They're phenomenal, and that's what's going to kind of propel my early game development. The other thing about it is that this holy site down here in our capital gives us development growth in hills terrain by plus 25%. So basically, if we have a hill-based county, the development there is going to go absolutely nuts. Next up, we need to choose a lifestyle. So my character's 36. So I think when choosing a lifestyle, I'm going to need to go up learning because I want to accomplish a lot in this first life. I want to try and get up to whole of body. Next, I have to find a good wife. I'm going to go ahead and search for somebody with inheritable traits. There's only one person. She's comely and she's 10.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Okay, let's lock her in. Now, the fact that she's quite young is actually really good for me.
Hey yo, what?
It'll help in a few ways. One, we probably won't have as many kids because there's a shorter period of time that we'll be able to have children. That's good. Two, is that I want to be having children later in my life. When I die, I want to hand off the reins to somebody that is younger. If I live another 30 years and then die and I hand it off to this kid, well, this kid's 17, he'll be 47 by the time I hand it off, and then I'll only be playing as him for a few years. So I want to hand off my reign to somebody young so I can play as them for many, many years to come. So yeah, let's lock this in. I think that's not a bad shout at all.
Witajcie.
Next up is we start with 412 dudes. Now our neighbor over here has 500 and our other neighbor has 800. So we're actually at a huge disadvantage.
I am so scared.
the first thing I'm gonna do is come over to my men-at-arms and just boost up my pikemen like crazy. The reason I'm doing that is because they get bonuses in mountains, desert mountains, and hills. So I'm gonna create a couple of those units because if you look at the actual terrain, the terrain we have to attack over here is hills, and the terrain we have to attack up here also hills. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is make sure my champions are maxed out. So now that our army is as badass as we can make it, we'll go ahead and declare war over here against this guy. He's already in an alliance. All right, we'll just check out with who? With me, no! Okay, so it looks like I accidentally aligned to this guy based on my marriage with this little kid. So let's go ahead and break that betrothal. What are you gonna do? And then now we can declare war. So I'm gonna raise all my boys, fire them in, we'll clap them up over and over and over again.
Stop it. Get some help.
And that was super easy. Let's go ahead and enforce the demands now. We now have 811 guys. This guy up here's got 900. That's kind of rough. Okay, so I can't exactly go after him because he's too strong, but we'll just have to build up our internal power and then go after him. I'm gonna raise up all my boys and just go raiding over here where these guys are a little bit weaker over in Africa.
I've come for your pickle.
Now, I don't mind getting into these battles because they do give me that little boost to my prestige, which I can turn around and flip back into my holdings. And coming back home, we got 61 gold and 61 prestige. I'm gonna grab markets because this will give me gold per month, and you can always trade gold for prestige. Speaking of, we have this kind of glut of gold that I don't really need. I'm gonna go on a quick hunt. And this hunt gives me a little bit more prestige, which I can then use to build markets over here in my second holding. Oh, I love investing. So we actually have 1,000 guys just from the sheer amount of levies we have. Up here, they only have 730. So I'm just gonna click on over to my enemy here. We'll declare war and we'll go after the county, and that will give us our full duchy finally. Oh, beautiful. So let's go ahead and enforce the demands. Okay, so I saved up my gold a little bit. I ransomed some prisoners, and I'm now at 126 gold. And that will allow us to create the Duchy of the Canaries. Now, for our next play, we're gonna go ahead and attack Tangiers. If you take a look, our diplomatic range is piss poor. We can talk to Tasmania.
Geography fail.
We can talk to the Al-Andalus Empire, but you go any further, like even to Majorca, and they're too far away to interact with. So we need a little base of operations, and for that, we'll attack Tangiers over here. So I'm just gonna declare war for this county right up here. We have more guys than them, so it should be a pretty easy clap. Oh, perfect. And just after taking some holdings, winning some battles, we can go ahead and enforce the demands down here. Now, you'll notice our government is tribal, along with the rest of most of Africa down here.
Geography success.
Now, in order to adopt feudal ways, we already know this, one of the hardest things to get is the organized faith, so we need to get on that next. And to reform your religion, you need to be controlling 3 of the holy sites. Taking a look, our third holy site to reform the faith is right over here in the Al-Andalus Empire. So what I'm gonna do is get pretty powerful and then actually make a play for this holy site, but not by attacking them directly. You'll see how I'm gonna do it. So right now, all I'm gonna do for the next little bit is just raise all my boys and go raiding. I'm gonna prioritize the capitals around here of anybody that's about my size or a little smaller, and I'm just gonna raid as much as I can. All right, so we had a son. Let's take a peek at him. Perfect, zeros across the board, no traits. We gotta find a good name for him.
And his name is...
I am so creative. And coming back from that raid, we got 100 gold and 100 prestige, and that was the first of many raids. The first thing I'm gonna do is just come on back and flip it into my capital, upgrade those markets, and we're off raiding yet again. Now I had a second kid, this little daughter over here, so I don't want to have any more kids. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up restraint, and I'll go ahead and just embrace celibacy because of that.
But are you still master of your domain?
I am king of the county.
If you take a look, this culture actually has equal gender laws, which is really cool. That means, in theory, we could play as this daughter. Perfect, and coming back from that next raid, we got 99 gold, 99 prestige. You'll love to see it. Okay, so we're at a really interesting point in our life right now, right? I've pretty much beefed up my holdings. Subsequently, I can go ahead and just purchase some more men-at-arms to beef up my military even more. So now I just need this last holy site within the Al-Andalus Empire. I can't war him. There's no way I'd win. He's got 4,000 guys and allies. There's no shot. But what I'm gonna do is go ahead and swear fealty to him. It'll cause me some stress, but that's totally fine. But now I'm his vassal. Now, if I want to war this guy directly, he's only got 400 dudes plus some allies. The allies are a little concerning, but not that big of a deal. I've already fabricated a claim down here, so all we have to do is declare war on him, and this is a much more even fight than it would have been had I fought the entire Al-Andalus Empire. So I'm gonna let my army tick up a little bit in size, and then I'll declare war on him. Oh, and right as I'm waiting for my army to tick up, my liege over here wants to revoke my title because I'm the wrong religion with him. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and decline that.
Nope.
I don't think he thinks that I have enough military power. If you look, he's got 4,500 guys. We've got 2,000. I'm gonna take my daughter here. I'm gonna find her a matrilineal marriage based on alliance power. This guy down here has got about 1,000 guys. He should be able to help me out. So I'll lock that in, and we'll just go ahead and call him to war. So I've been saving my gold like crazy, and we're at 687 gold. But what I don't think the AI factors in is that I have at least 9 prisoners in my prison willing to be ransomed. So let's go ahead and just ransom everybody off. And that puts us around 1,000 gold. Now if I look for mercenaries, we can hire both of these guys. Hire. And that puts my standing army without my allies at 4,300, and he's only got 4,500 dudes. And I don't think he can take that fight. I honestly don't think he can attack me with this. So it looks like he's gonna rush my capital. I'll do the same, and it'll be a matter of who can siege the capital down faster. Oh, and we took a valuable hostage, giving us a 74% war score. That'll be enough to offer white peace. And that's good enough for me because in 5 years, we're gonna be so big and powerful, he's not gonna know what hit him. So now that we have all our mercenaries hired, we have our allies, we can now declare war against this little boy down here. And he absolutely dwarfs us in comparison. Beautiful. So 100% war score. We can now enforce the demands. Oh, it's all coming together now, baby. So here's what I'm gonna do, and you're gonna think I'm an absolute lunatic.
The lunatic's wrong there, man.
I'm gonna move my capital right over here. This now makes us part of the Iberian struggle as an interloper. Now, you might have noticed I've had this icon on my screen for a while now, and that's to choose a dynasty legacy. Now, normally, when you're doing a development game, the first thing you want to rush is treasured knowledge, right? Because it gives you development growth, it gives you learning lifestyle experience. That's all you need or want. No. We're not doing that at all. We're gonna go up the metropolitan tree. Now, this is a tree specific to people involved in the Iberian struggle. If we weren't involved, we could not choose this. So in order to lock these trees in for the rest of my playthrough, I need to pick up at least one while I'm involved in the struggle. So I'm gonna pick up this one, influential cities, which basically makes every city increase the monthly development growth of my county by 20%, which is huge. Like, that's phenomenal. So I'm gonna pick this one up, unlock that bad boy, and it's all coming together now because we also have a lifestyle focus unlocked, and we can grab profit, which reduces the faith creation and reformation costs by 50%. And now we have 3 holy sites. We can go about looking into reforming our faith. The only thing I'll change is the clerical tradition being lay clergy, and that's gonna cost me 2,725 piety, meaning I'm missing 1,600. So after that war, I have about 20 prisoners, so I can go ahead and execute all these people, and that'll give me 1,976. So now we only need 758, which is kind of doable. Why don't I go on a pilgrimage? Okay, and from that pilgrimage, we got 375. So now we're only missing another 375. Okay, so I should be able to go raiding and grab a couple prisoners to make that 300. Okay, I just finished my raid down here, and would you look at it, I captured a duke.
Gotcha, bitch.
Which is kind of nice because he's a duke, he's worth 100 piety. And I also captured this woman, and take a look at her. She is a descendant of the prophet. Executing her gives me 250 piety.
Thank you.
I can't believe how lucky I got there. That is sick. So let's go ahead and reform this faith. Beautiful. So an absolute slog of a first life. The only thing I have left to do is take a look at my succession. Now, you'll see that because we have equal gender law, that it's being split evenly between my son and my daughter. But you'll see that because I moved my capital, she's getting this holding that we invested so much in that has all the buildings. So I'm going to come over to her and I'm going to grant her titles. I'm going to grant her this one up here, which is not fully maxed out. as well as this one over here. Again, not fully maxed out. Now our dynasty's also gonna gain 100 renown from this. Why? Well, if you take a look at our religion, we have mystical ancestors, basically where we gain renown for giving titles to our house member. We'll grant her those, we'll get some renown, and we're good to go.
Excellent.
Now, if you look at my succession, we actually get to keep all the titles we kind of want, these down here, as well as this one up here. All right, so the next step in our plan is to declare some independence. Now, if you take a look at our liege, he's only got 4,000 dudes. He's already in a war against the squirrel boys. So I'm just gonna create an independence faction and fire that in. All right, so we can send an ultimatum against him. So let's go ahead and press our demands, and he will war us. I'm actually surprised he did that, but okay. So yeah. We'll raise all the boys up, rush the capital, and that should be the end of that. Okay, and we are 1 year away from death. All good. We've prepared everything for ourselves. Oh, beautiful. And we captured a valuable hostage, so we can go ahead and enforce the demands. Okay, perfect. And we've died. We're playing as our son. So here's the next part of our plan. We're going to declare war for Sardinia over here. Don't even start. I know what you're going to comment. You're always playing in Sardinia. I just really love the gabagoo. Not to mention, it's like the best territory in this whole map for this specific play, but we'll get to that in a sec. We're going to grab this holding specifically, and yeah, should be pretty easy to grab. Okay, and after a quick and dirty battle, we get 100% war score. We can enforce these demands. Now, there's just one more holding I'm gonna need to take my plan to the next level, and that's this one over here. So let's declare war for it. We'll grab this county, and that should be it. Okay, and after taking their capital, we can enforce the demands. Yoink. Perfect, now we have 2 little bits of Sardinia down here. Now, both of these are almost equally important, with Caesarea being the most important. This is the county we are going to be bringing up to 100 development, not using our steward, not using diligent. So, the first thing I'm going to do is move my capital over here. And you'll notice we're no longer part of the struggle, right? Because we're not part of Iberia anymore. And that is phenomenal news. I don't want to be part of the struggle. Now, the reason we took Olbia here, well, that's because it borders Italy. And that would allow us to swear fealty to Italy. That'll only be important a little bit later, because for now, I have to be maxing out my prestige and maxing out my piety. I want to create a new faith and a new culture that's going to absolutely propel my development game. And the fact that we have 3,200 guys will pretty much allow us to raid anywhere around now. And I'll cut back when I have enough prestige and enough piety. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The year is 954 AD. Now, the whole reason why I took this little portion of Sicily earlier on was so that I could swear fealty to Italy and then adopt feudal ways through my liege, and it would just make the whole process so much simpler. But wouldn't you know it, Italy's completely broken up.
Somebody touch my spaghetti!
And to be honest, this drunk bastard's having a bit of a rough go of things. So here's what I'm gonna do. I've decided I'm gonna do the exact same thing with the Byzantine Empire. So the Salamid Emirate over here, I'll declare war on them for this county. Now, in securing both of these holdings, I got 100% war score. I can go ahead and enforce these bad boys. So now what I can do is come over to the Byzantines over here, and because we share a border, I can swear fealty to them.
My liege?
Beautiful. So I am now part of the Byzantine Empire, and if you look at the government map, they are feudal. And because of that, I can now adopt feudal ways through my liege. So let's go ahead and adopt feudal ways. We'll become feudal. So this whole life, I basically didn't do anything but raid and execute people. And I've saved up 7,100 prestige and almost 6,000 piety. So now I get to reform my culture and my faith to make them more suitable for playing tall and not putting any work in to get to 100 development. The first thing I'm gonna do is diverge my culture. Now I only have enough prestige to be able to hit the bureaucratic culture. And in terms of traditions, I'm just gonna swap out isolationists, which is just so bad, for hill dwellers, which will give me a boost to my development growth in hills by 20%. So you'll love to see it. Let's lock that in. The next thing I'm gonna do is reform my religion. Now I'm gonna create a new North African faith. I'm gonna change out volcanic veneration. This gives you some bonuses in mountains and stuff, but it's nothing to write home about. I'm gonna change this one out for adaptive, which is going to give a different faith liege opinion of plus 15, which is big because we're somebody's vassal and they're not going to be of our culture. So we want them to like us. For the second tenant, I'm going to change it out for pacifism because, as everybody knows, I love peace.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
And it gives us a domain limit of +1, which is very, very nice. I'm gonna leave megalithic construction. That's gonna be very important for us. So in terms of my doctrines, the only thing that is worth noting is I changed the clerical function to control, because if you take a look at the other options, they reduce your domain taxes, and we're playing tall. We don't want that, obviously. And now the last thing we need to do is just get ourselves a good name. So we'll be known as the Lazy Boys. Lazy Boy. And we started in the Canary Islands, so let's go with the bird. That looks like 2 birds to me. If it's not supposed to be that, I'm gonna look like a complete moron. And one last thing to do before I die is come over to the Byzantine Empire, modify our vassal contract, and we'll trade guaranteed council rights for high levy contribution. You'll notice we also still have this gang of raiders, even though we're feudal. And I'll let you know a little secret. If you just don't disband these guys, you will always have them. So I'm gonna be keeping these guys alive as long as possible and just raiding literally everywhere I can that is still weaker than me. Now, one of the last things I can do in this life is petition my liege. And I'm gonna choose the petition type to resettle subjects. Now, this is the next development tip that is so often overlooked. Resettling the subjects will transfer a fraction of their capital's development to ours. And the Byzantine Empire actually works out way better than Italy, because the one thing it doesn't mention is that your capital has to be 66% or less than the Liege's development for this to be an option. So we have 6 development, but in Constantinople here, they have 29 development, which essentially means we'd have to have 17 development for this to come into play, which might actually happen sooner than you think, but for now we're okay. So let's go ahead and petition our liege, and we'll choose the resettle subjects petition, and we'll lock this down. And would you look at that, the development in our county has increased by +2. We do take a small penalty for that, but overall, well worth it, in my opinion. Just peeking at our succession, we're only gonna lose 1 title, and that's this one down here. I could care less about this title, so that's totally fine. I'm not gonna do anything about that. Okay, we've died. We're playing as our daughter. She's 51. Duchess Iron Dome here.
Not even close, baby.
So first thing I'm gonna take a look at is her lifestyle. And like we said, she went up stewardship. It looks like she went up the administrator tree. Bruh, that's so brutal. That's literally the worst one you can go up. All right, then I'm gonna pause the game. Next, I'm gonna reset my perks. It's very important that you pause it here. And look, I got the notification, you have been overwhelmed by stress. So if we unpause, we're gonna get a pop-up that says, here's 2 negative traits you can pick to live with for the rest of the game. I don't want that.
Nope.
So immediately what I'm gonna do is come over here and host a feast, which will lose 50 stress, put me under the limit, and then I don't have to deal with that pop-up. And we get to reset our perks. So I'm actually first gonna pick up a trait in the intrigue lifestyle of this life, and that is the truth is relative. This will allow me to fabricate hooks on people, and that'll be important in just 1 second. And because I reset the perks in stewardship, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up this whole first tree, because you get the architect trait, which reduces the building construction time and building construction cost. Is perfect. Now in our last life, we made sure that we modified our contract to allow for a council position. So I'm now going to demand the council position of steward, and this is also going to reduce my building construction costs.
Nice.
And now because she has all these savings on her buildings, I'm gonna go ahead and invest our $5,000 we got from just raiding for an entire life into my holdings. Now I'm also gonna look at my temple holdings and make sure I'm always building these megaliths. Now megaliths are probably the most slept on building in this whole game in terms of development. They only offer a very small amount at the beginning, but they scale incrementally. This is just like having another guild. I absolutely love them.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
So I'm gonna be building these everywhere I possibly can. So yeah, I'm pretty much gonna be just maxing out my holdings this life. Now because I changed rulers, I can go ahead and petition my liege again for free. So I can choose my petition type, and I'm always going to resettle my subjects. And I have a 42% chance this works, so let's try it.
Ah, shit.
Oh my days. I failed on that one, but usually it worked. Okay, I finally picked up the truth is relative, and what I'm gonna do with that is come to my liege over here and fabricate a hook on her. Okay, so we finished fabricating a hook on her. So what we can do now is come on over to her, and we'll just modify our feudal contract. I wanna make sure I have title revocation hooked up, and then I'll use my hook to modify that, because I don't want her being like, oh, you're a different religion than me, I'm just gonna take your title. Like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So now let's take a first glimpse into to our actual development. I can't imagine this is like even close to the front of the video. It's not. You've been rambling for literal hours on end. Now, why did I choose this as our main capital? Well, if we take a quick peek at the terrain, we have our primary barony, which is here in hills, meaning that the whole county is considered hills. And that's why I chose this barony out of literally the entire map. I wanted somewhere with 4 holding slots, 3 of which were on the coast, and it was considered a hilled barony. Now, the reason I chose hills was, well, in megalithic construction, you get a plus 15% development growth in hills. Not only that, but in our reformed culture, we picked up hill dwellers, giving us a plus 20%. Also for our religion, our holy site gives us plus 25% development growth in hills. Recall that in our legacy tree, the first one we picked up was every city increases the monthly development growth of its county by 20%. Right away when you take a peek at the development, you have a village center at 20% boost, village center at 20% boost. And then the rest of these, I've started building buildings that give me development, like trade ports, like farms and fields, like guilds. I'm really dependent on the power of the percentage boost to develop my capital in this scenario. So we turned a measly 0.3 into a less measly 0.7 development per month. All right, we're gonna petition our liege one more time. Here we go. 3rd time's a charm. Resettle the subjects, please. Oh, failure. Failure. Oh, my days. Okay.
A few moments later.
Okay, we can petition our liege again. Let's give it a shot. We're 0 for 4 now. Let's see about 0 for 5. 45% chance we get this.
You're beautiful, beautiful, it's true.
Finally! Our development level in our main county increased by +2. You love to see it. So we're now at 12 development. And you join me a bunch of years later. Literally nothing interesting has happened in like 30 minutes of playing this game. And I'm now playing as my granddaughter here. Basically, if you take a look, I need the duchy capital to build my duchy building in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start fabricating a claim down here and hopefully grab one for the whole duchy and just pick it up. Awesome, and after a few battles, we won the war. We can go ahead and enforce our demands. Perfect. Now all the rest of Sardinia is mine. Now, eventually, I'm going to need to construct the royal preserves down here, which will increase the development across the duchy. Yet again, we have the decision to petition our liege. Let's give it a shot. Oh, perfect, and we won it. That brings our development or our capital to 15. We're absolutely flying just by using this tactic. And this life, I'm gonna demand the council position of chancellor because it gives us prestige per month, which I can use later to reform my culture. Time to petition the liege yet again. Oh, okay, and now our capital actually already has 66% of the development my liege's capital does. So actually we can't do that anymore. We have to rely on other means. And that's fine, because you already worked us up to 19 development, which is a solid start, if I do say so myself. Okay, so the year is 1024, and we've managed to save 7,500 prestige. Now, immediately, I'm gonna come and reform my culture. Now, I'm gonna pick up the most important and most slept-on tradition out of all of them. Garden architects. Basically, it allows rulers to construct royal garden duchy buildings, nothing special. It gives you a decision to recruit gardeners, but the most important one is it allows you to recruit a court gardener court position. Now, this is gonna be important. So let's establish this bad boy, and it'll be available in 5 years, and I'll show you exactly how it works. Now, in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and start fabricating a claim. Specifically, I'm gonna fabricate one against the Great Moravia up here, and I'm gonna pick this county right here. Why is that? Well, this culture over here is a West Slavic culture, meaning they have access to mountaineer ritualism. What does that do? Well, it increases development growth in hill terrain by 10%, which is exactly what we want to see. So I'm going to pick up this county and meld my culture with them. And after taking a ton of holdings, we can finally enforce the demands down here. The first thing I'm gonna do is come on over to my council and make sure that my steward is promoting cultural acceptance here. You'll also notice that some time has passed, so Garden Architects has finally become active. So let me show you what this does and why it's so slept on. I can now employ a court gardener. Now this person, for a mere 0.62 gold per month, will give me development growth in my realm capital from 0.1 to 0.7 per month.
You serious?
Like I said, easily the most slept on. And if I try and fill this position, so I already have this average guy here, but if I spend some coin, I also have the decision to recruit a gardener. Now this might even get me somebody a little bit better. And she's absolutely trash. Good. Glad I did that. So what I'm gonna do is just appoint this dude. He's an average gardener, and we'll lock him in, and he'll give us 0.4 per month. So now you can see we're going up by 0.3 because we have centralization down the stewardship tree, and this court gardener is giving us 0.4, plus all of our percentage bonuses is giving us 1.9 monthly development growth. That's insane. We've died as this character, so we'll be playing as our son. You might notice I sound completely different, and that's because in between filming the last cut and this cut has been about 2 weeks, and I literally got like super sick. So anyways, we'll be playing as this young kid here.
Nice try.
Okay, so I just got this pop-up that I can consolidate the canaries. If you control all the canaries and this duchy is your primary title, well, you can create a new kingdom. So let's go ahead and lock that in, and the kingdom of the canaries will be ours. Oh, and we got a sick new color. Oh, and our court looks sick too. Oh, that's actually awesome. Not only that, but we can do things to increase our court grandeur, like improving our fashion, which will also increase our monthly prestige, so that'll help with reforming our culture. Let's max all these out and lock them in. Not only that, but we can also change from a warlike court to an administrative court. This will reduce building costs, increase development growth in our capital at level 7, and help us promote cultural acceptance. Also, with picking up these first 4 traits in the August tree, we're currently sitting at 13.7 prestige, which we can improve even more by hiring a personal champion, and just like that, we'll get it up to 13.8 per month. So we should be able to reform our culture pretty soon. Okay, so I was kind of worried about this. Our liege is asking us to convert to orthodoxy. Now she has 11,000 guys. I really have about 5,000, so I definitely can't decline this.
The power of Christ compels you.
But what I'm gonna do, I will divorce my current wife.
Bye, bitch.
I'll find another wife from my old religion, like this woman.
Hello there.
And then all I have to do is adopt their faith, and I only need 528 piety to do that. So if I just go on a quick pilgrimage, I'll walk away from it with 625 piety. And now I can just come over to my new wife and adopt her faith. It's time I reform my culture one more time. I've saved up 11,000 prestige just from calling hunts, hosting feasts, and just maxing out my prestige per month. I'm gonna remove this mystical ancestors tradition, and I'm gonna change that out for parochialism, because city holdings will give more taxes, development, and levies. And when it says development there, it means that it gives you a plus 5% monthly development per city holding level. So if this city is at 2, it's gonna give me 10%. And if I have 2 cities, it's gonna give me 10% twice. Compounding. Okay, and we have died. And now what I can do is modify my contract over here, make sure my religious rights are protected. I'll give her more of my levies, I don't even care. Okay, and finally, we've saved up enough prestige to be able to pick up another dynasty legacy, so I'm gonna finally grab treasured knowledge for that 20% boost to our development growth. Hey, so the time has finally come. We finally reached 44% cultural acceptance, so I can go ahead and form a hybrid culture. I'm gonna keep the traditions, garden architects, Bruh, I literally said this 5 minutes ago.
Strange words I cannot read.
But Boo, you can't read most words.
Yes, but especially not the strange ones.
Parochialism, hill dwellers, and mountaineer ritualism. The other 2 I'm gonna get rid of. I know you're probably thinking, well, there's expert artisans here, that's a good one for building tall. And the reason I'm not picking it up is it's actually cheaper when you want to reform your culture to add a new tradition than to replace an existing one. So I'm only gonna pick up ones that I need, ones that are gonna give me development growth. Oh, and we just got a book that will give us development growth at plus 0.0.
What? What the fuck?
Bro, that's so BS. What is that all about? This game, I tell you, man, sometimes the bugs you find, so brutal. Now, just looking at our development in our capital, we're currently sitting at 41, and we're making 5.6 per month. I'm gonna see how much more I can max it out, and then I'm gonna go over all of these. And to top that all off, I'm going to reform our culture yet again. I'm gonna add another one in collective lands, which will give us another 20% boost to our development. We would have been even faster if my stupid liege didn't become this Vlach culture, which is a terrible culture. Look how undeveloped these lands are. It's just so brutal. But I have a plan for that. I'm going to install somebody on this throne that has a proper culture. God, why do I feel so British right now? Anyway, if he had a proper culture with proper technologies, I could rig our contract in a way where I squeeze even more development out of him. And the first way I'm gonna do that is by getting a hook on my liege. So I've been running this scheme here, and if you take a look, I can now fabricate a hook on him. Perfect. Okay, so I got a nice weak hook on him. So I'm gonna find his grandson and offer guardianship to him, and I'll use my hook and convert his culture, and he will accept. So now his grandson, who will eventually be in line for the throne, will convert to my culture. So I'll check back in with you once I've fully educated him. Perfect. Nature versus nurture. After my long tutelage of young Roman, I was pleased to no end when he told me he considers himself a development made easy. Oh, beautiful. Okay, perfect. So now we gotta do some murdering.
Flashback.
For pacifism, because as everybody knows,
I love peace.
so if we murder his father, then the throne should pass to this guy next. So Roman's father is this guy. I'm going to go ahead and murder this dude. All right, we got a 90% chance here. Let's do it.
Kill him.
Do it. Oh, I do love surprise visits. Okay, so now all I have to do is murder my liege. I hope you're not afraid of spiders. Here we go. Oh, hell yeah, dude. My new liege is this guy Roman now, who is of our culture. And what does our culture have? Well, we definitely have coinage. And coinage is a super special one because if I go to modify my vassal contract, there's now this option for coinage rights. And what that does is it hurts the liege's development growth, but increases our development growth in our realm capital by 0.3 per month. So I'm gonna lock that in. Oh, and I have to wait till I die. Oh, it's so annoying. No. Okay, so we've died and we're now playing as this kid, young Wezel. Now that I'm this kid, I'm gonna go over to my liege. I'll modify my vassal contract again. I don't even care. I'll pay him an exorbitant number of taxes for this coinage rights. I really could care less. We're now getting 0.3 development per month just from that. Okay, so we've got the choice for our lifestyle. We're first gonna go down stewardship, pick up centralization, and then we're gonna rip on down the learning tree to scholar. We're now sitting at 67 development. We have just surpassed our liege far and away. He was at 40. We're actually flying here. Oh, okay, so I kind of played myself because I'm no longer the head of the culture. My liege, who is the same culture as me, is my head of culture, which is so brutal. But I'm pretty sure if I murder her, her heir will be this little kid, and this little kid can't be the head of faith because he's 2 years old. You have to be an adult. So I'm gonna murder her so that I can reform this culture one more time. Okay, we got a 71% chance we kill her. Let's try it. Oh, so she's dead, and we are now the new cultural head of faith. So I'm gonna go ahead and just reform this culture, add a new tradition under social. I'm gonna grab pacifist. Oh, and it just in 5 years we'll be good to go. I think I might have maxed it out as much as I can. So we're sitting at 88 development, making 8.3 per month. Ignore these two, these are literal bugs. So from our stewardship lifestyle, we have the perk centralization giving us plus 0.3 development per month. If you take a look, that's right here. Next up, we have our coinage rights guaranteed. So that comes from our contract. You'll see coinage rights gives us 0.3 development per month. Our court type gives us 0.2. And if we have a court grandeur of level 7, we get plus 0.2 development per month in our realm capital. Our court gardener here is giving us 0.55 per month. So that's our court position that we unlocked through the garden architect's trait. Next up, we have all the buildings. So I'll go through these very quickly, but essentially all these buildings, for example, our trade ports, because they're level 7, give us development growth at plus 30%. Our guilds give us a development growth of plus 30%, and our farms and fields give us a development growth of plus 5%. We also have shipyards, farms and fields, and we have this legendary megalith, which is from our religion, which gives us plus 35% development growth. Up here again, we have another city, this time with large mines, which give us development growth at plus 2%. Because we have the first perk in the metropolitan tree, every city gives us a monthly development growth of plus 20%. So we have 2 cities in this county. So I think that's this one, city center plus 20%, city center plus 20%. The vast crown forest, that's our royal reserves. We upgraded to level 2. That's our duchy building. Our culture is bureaucratic, which gives us a plus 15% bonus. We take a look at our culture, Bureaucratic gives us a plus 15%. While we're in here, we'll talk about all of these. So Parochialism is giving us plus 50% in each of our cities because they're tier 3, right? So 5 plus 5 plus 5. Hill Dwellers, because we're in mountainous terrain. If you take a look at the actual terrain here, this is a hill. That's giving us plus 20%, as well as Mountaineer Ruralism, giving us another 10% development in hills. Collective Lands is giving us 20%, and Pacifist is giving us another 10%. Being a Scholar, which is down here in the lifestyle, the final one, that's giving us 15%, plus we're down the Scholarship Focus, giving us 15%. Our culture itself is giving us a plus 30% through technology. I've picked up the first 3 innovations that are gonna give us boosts to our development. So here it's banking, in the early medieval, I think it's coinage, and then in the tribal era, I believe it's currency. Megalithic construction, as well as our main holy site, is giving us 15 and 25% boosts on top of that. So if we take a look at the lazy boy religion, so our main holy site is giving us plus 25%, and our main belief over here is giving us plus 15%. So all in all, this is giving us 8.3 monthly growth, which is insane. So I'm gonna play it out to the end of the game, but yeah, it's pretty much just a waiting game at this point. I can't max this out any further. Before we close it out, I just wanna say thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked it, or at least got some kind of value or giggle out of it. If you watch this much, you might consider liking and subscribing. It's completely free, helps me out a bunch, and you'll probably like my other content as well. Also, just to let you know, me and Zeeley were out for beers and had the exact same idea to do a video on this part of the world surrounding development. So we synced up our release dates for the videos. So mine comes out today and his will be out tomorrow. I'll leave a link to it in the description. If you don't know him and you like my content, you'll definitely love his stuff. As always, just know that you matter. Thank you again for watching. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
The Ottawa Welshman. CK3, man, I'm the king of this land. If you want renown, well, I got it. The way I run my house, you know you want it. Got 1,000 sons, all named John. They probably don't know that their cousin is the mom. Tutorials played through, speed runs to win. No challenge too great for the Ottawa Welshman.